Good to see you again, Gene. Let's do a nice long shoe.
Play action fakes it for Paxton zone. Yes, touchdown.
Hi, and welcome to Geno's Picks, where after nearly a second straight perfect week that saw Daddy go 3-1 to improve to 7-1 for 88% over the past 2 weeks, 75% over the past 3, and probably what is the most amazing, saw me improve to 19-17 overall to put me back on the winning side of Vegas for the first time since week 1. I love doing this. But don't take my word for it, just ask your banker, because he cannot believe the transaction you must be sending his way. Hey, you do the math, because if you were betting $100 a week on these picks, you would have made $1,900 on the winners and lost $1,870 on the losers and would have made $30 going into week 10, which means you are sending your guy $3.33 every week saying, put this in the 401k. Of course, no one really did that, because anyone that actually sets aside his $3 and change worth of gambling winnings every week is no doubt sending it to the Israeli Defense League, because they're Jews. Now let's get to the picks. My first pick, the Buccaneers are laying 1.5 to the Titans in Tampa. Really? Only 3? Yes. Will Levis looked good in his debut when his Titans beat the Falcons 28-23, but he only looked good because they were wearing those Oilers throwbacks, which we all agree they should be wearing every week. But don't think he looked impressive at quarterback, as wide receiver D-Hop looked like he wasn't being covered by a Falcon as much as an extinct bird. Here we go. Because every time that Levis looked in D-Hop's direction, rather than following him on his route, the quarterback had gone the way of the dodo.
I hate you.
And was nowhere to be seen. But if you want to see how Levis looks against a real defense, look no further than his more recent Thursday night game, where Levis completed barely half of his passes and never got one, let alone 4 into the end zone against the Steelers. And while the Titans will be studying game tape of Baker Mayfield, maybe Levis should be. Because BM, and I can't believe I never noticed those are his initials, because fucking Baker Mayfield wrote the book on scoring often against bad defenses 2 or 3 times a year.
BMF.
Baker is way better at this garbage game than Levis. Take the Bucs in this virtual pick'em. Way of the dodo. My next pick, Steelers are laying 3 to the Packers in Pittsburgh. A lot of people were down on Pittsburgh, who got off to a shaky start this season. With rather than focus on their wins against the Raiders and the Browns in the first 2 weeks, the first month, people noticed the blowout loss opening week against a very good Niners team and another loss against a not so good Texas teams. But that was the first month of the season, as the Steelers were getting their act together, making all 4 of those games outliers, as opposed to anyone that tells you Jordan Love is any fucking good, because those people are flat out liars.
Whoa.
Packers suck. Take the Steelers and lay the 3.
Whoa. I will say Jordan Love can be a good quarterback. He hasn't shown it yet, but he keeps showing that he can be, but he just hasn't crossed it. Just like C.J. Stroud did last week, Jordan Love just needs one of those games to show that he's on the board as one of the up-and-coming quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, Geno, back to your picks.
Kids are pro. The Niners are
And the Mad Dog. New City 66. The Fan. WFA.
Go in
Good afternoon, everybody.
Go in the baby. What? My next pick, the Niners are laying 3 to the Jags in Jacksonville. Here we go. Yes, the Niners have lost their last 3 games, but that's because they lost both Deebo Samuel and, even more importantly, offensive lineman Trent Williams for the last 2. Well, both of them are back. And as much as the return of Deebo leaves a lot more options for the last pick in the NFL draft, quarterback Brock Purdy, Trent Williams leaves very few options for the defensive line. I got to change it for the dick joke.
What position does he play?
Offensive tackle.
Oh, boy, he totally blew that.
But it doesn't matter, because the guy that plays offensive tackle, Trent Williams, is an incredibly disruptive factor that changed the game. In fact, the last time I saw someone with the ability to blow any given play, Kevin Brennan's whore wife was invading the theater district.
Oh,
Niners find their first W in a month. Take the Niners, lay the 3 in Jacksonville.
Jeez.
Here we go, which brings me to my Double Your Money Monday night bet. Or as I say, get this fucking hair out of my mouth. The Broncos are getting 7 and a hook from the Bills on Monday night in Buffalo. If this game were being played last year in Week 10, I would have loved this line, as the Denver Broncos were mid-collapse and the Bills were pre-collapse. But since then, the offense of the Buffalo without Brian Dable continues to collapse, and now the defense collapsed literally when Matt Milano suffered this horrific leg injury against the Jags in London. Trust me, you want to be on the Broncos on this one. While, as they're not very good, they're at least improving under Sean Payton, who seems to at least be able to get a little bit more out of Russell Wilson this year than Nathaniel Hackett ever did, which is why I would definitely go with Denver, because no one on Buffalo is making money. Well, that means on the Buffalo side. I'll tell you one guy on Buffalo that is making money, injured Matt Milano, who got a gig with Pepperidge Farms doing appearance gigs on his legs, saying, "That's the way this cookie crumbles." Take the Broncos and the points. Those are Geno's picks. How we doing, guys?
This is on the air?
Not really.